So over the last 10 days, we've sold over 65 cars at my car lot, and you can see behind me that we've got a lot of empty spaces. We had 4 rows of cars out here, and now we're down to like 1.5. And here's the thing, even with us being that busy, we are actually slashing prices today. And I'll tell you exactly why we're doing this throughout this whole video, show you what we got going on over there. But what's really going on right now is we've experienced the chaos of tax time, of spring selling season. We had all of these people come in, they bought all these cars in just a short amount of time, but now over the last couple selling days, we've seen that chaos kind of go away, and we've seen our leads, our calls, our test drives go down. And we know, because we've been doing this for 14 years now, that this is an element of how the market moves. As soon as the money gets here for tax time, it's gone just as quickly. So what do we need to do? We've got to get all of these cars. I want all of these cars gone by the end of tax time. And we're approaching that very quickly, because I know that car prices at auction are going to be way less in about 1 month to about a month and a half. So stuff that I could buy right now, if this is a $4,500 car, it's probably $3,000, $3,500 a couple of weeks ago at auction. Right now, it's probably creeping up to about $4,000. But we go 2 months from now, when all these dealers get overexposed, they rush to the auction, pay way too much for cars, and then they fill up their lots and they fill up their floor plans. Floor plans are just their credit lines that they use to pay. They don't pay with cash, most of them, so they don't have any money left over. And they don't have any lot space left over, because they go and fill up their lot again. This same car that might cost $4,000 today at auction, well, in 2 months from now, it's going to be back down to $2,500. It might even go down to $2,000, because there is a wholesale crash that happens in the market every single year. Been doing it for 14 years. I've seen it every single year. And I want to go and show you down here what we're actually dealing with right now. I'm going to back up, and if you hear wind, very sorry. It's very windy here today in North Carolina. And two, before I get down here, this is a brand new channel, and you can see from the thumbnails, from the titles, we're not going the clickbait method, anything like that with this channel. So if you like this better, make sure you're subscribed. And just to show you, here we go. Can I see the car? Oh, nope, let's go. You can see the price too? No, let's get all the cars in there. Let's back up. This is good for TV. Is this good for TV? There we go. There's the price. That's the thumbnail. That's what we're going to do on this channel. So if you like that better, then make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, everything like that. So all down here, these are all cars that we have in recon. These are cars that we're actually cleaning up right now. And I'll show you all of these cars, and it's a big time problem for me right now, because I have to get these cars out, and I need to get them out right now. So as we have cars that are being cleaned up, as we have cars that are still being fixed, if it's a week, if it's 2 weeks before I can actually get these cars onto my lot to sell them, then that's almost a disaster scenario. And it happens every single year, where, okay, we have some cars left over that took longer to fix. If we take them to one of our mechanics that have to do some of the bigger jobs that Alex can't do here at my lot, Alex is my mechanic, then we have to wait on those kind of cars. But if I'm buying cars around this time period, don't get them back to sell for another month, I know I'm going to lose money on those cars. Because here's the thing, we have new cars that are going to be coming in a month's time that we pay less than what we paid for about a week, 2 weeks ago for those cars. And every car that I have on my lot, all those cars that you saw sitting up there on that hill right there, they're all competing against every one of the other cars. Let alone competing with the other dealers in my area, but they're also competing with every other car on my lot. So if I get to the situation where I buy, let's say this is a GMC Envoy right here. If I bought this GMC Envoy at auction just a couple of days ago and I paid $2,000 for it, go to the auction today, and then it's $3,000 for another one, I buy that one, then I have one that's sitting here for $2,000, I have one that's sitting here for $3,000. If I put both of those on my lot, mark them up, I try to make about $1,200 a car. One's obviously going to be about $1,200 more than the other one. So the cheaper one is going to be the one that sells fastest. And this is what happens throughout tax time as prices start to drop on the other end. If you're a car dealer watching this, you know this. Summertime is one of the worst times to be a car dealer. Stuff slows down. Prices go down because you can't sell anything, so why would you buy anything? A lot of these dealers, they're living paycheck to paycheck. Not necessarily in their personal lives, maybe, but on their lots. So they can't really buy more cars until they sell cars. So if they're not selling cars, but they're loaded up, they're not buying any more cars. So they disappear at auction, prices drop. And this is what I'm talking about right here, where all of these cars that I have right now, I know in a month and a half, they're going to be cheaper. I know in a month and a half that I'm going to be able to sell a car that's very similar to the ones that we have sitting right here, waiting to get detailed, waiting to get fixed. They're going to be cheaper on my lot. So what am I going to have to do with this old inventory? Lower the price. And in a lot of cases, if we have cars that are left over that we've had for 30, 60 days around this time frame, a lot of times we lose money. And we know this is going to happen, but I want to limit the amount of exposure that I have to tax time cars. Cars that we bought about a month before tax time, I'm still considering those. We're loading up, we're trying to buy anything we could. Some cars we paid a little bit more for just because we wanted to have the inventory. For the most part, I had, let's see, I think the highest amount of cars I had was right over 150 cars coming into this tax time. We sold a ton of them, and now I think we're down to like right at 70 cars. So we've moved through a bunch of those cars, but I still have all these cars that are sitting here, and it worries me. It worries me every year because I know I'm going to have losses on the other end. And really, I mean, it's just the element of the market, and I go through this scenario every single year. Nate, my sales manager, will have this conversation every single year. Well, okay, how many leads did you have today? How many phone calls today? How many test drives did you have today? Okay, well, it seems like it's starting to cool down a little bit. And actually, my sister is my title clerk. She does sales too. And I just went over to her the other day and was like, "How's it feel?" She's like, money's pretty much gone. Let's lower prices. And she's been doing it even longer than my sales manager has. So I like to use them as a good gauge of where the market's moving. They can hear how these customers are talking. If we have customers, we can even read the customers that are coming in. If we have customers that are coming in and say, okay, I want that Toyota Camry out there, and I don't want to test drive it, just sell it to me. We make them test drive it, but that kind of mentality with the initial rush, people that have money and they want to get rid of it that quickly, that's how that customer sounds. But when you start getting these customers in that are going to hold on to their money a little bit more, that are going to make maybe a little bit more informed decision, you know that the chaos is over. And now that's what we're getting right now. We're having test drives where customer comes in, is like, yeah, you know what, I like the car, but it's a little bit too much, and I'm going to go check a few other places. When you get to that customer in the market right now and they want to go shop around and check 3 or 4 different dealerships, that's not really a tax time customer. So even right now, today, we sold it's either 3 or 4 cars already, but it feels completely different. And we can feel exactly when the market is changing, and the market has changed. And I am this is the most stressful time of the year for me as a car dealer, and has been every single year, because I know the clock is ticking. I know that I have to get stuff done. I know a lot of dealers watch my channel, and I hope you watch this channel even more than the other channels, because I'm going to be more real, go take you around the lot, show you what I'm dealing with in the car market, and see what I'm saying. Especially if you're a newer car dealer, and use what I'm saying. I've been doing this for 14 years. It happens every single year. And it's going to happen even stronger on the lower end tier of stuff, because that's where tax time affects it the most. But even mid tier, I got a buddy who's got a lot like 2 doors down from where I am right now. He sells stuff that's like $15,000 and up. They had a big hit. For a whole week, they sold more cars than they typically sell. So it even affects those dealers. And in that price range, you're not going to get such a variance in prices where you have this big crash that happens on the lower tier stuff. But you're still going to have prices that spike. They're spiking this week at auction. And then you're going to have a couple weeks where they still stay elevated as dealers have to reload their stock. Even at that top end range, you're still going to get that spike for a few weeks, and then prices are going to slowly come back down again. But on our side, I talk about this a lot. I know that you guys, when you're seeing titles stuff, you hear crash, whatever. On a wholesale level, the prices absolutely crash for my vehicles. Stuff that we can pay $2,000 for a month ago, right now, this week, it's going for $3,500. It's going for $4,000. That's how much it spikes. And then it crashes back down to where it was. So you have a $4,000 Toyota Camry that I can buy today. a month, 2 months from now, that Toyota Camry is going to be $2,000. That's a 50% decrease. Now, I know the price has increased in that short amount of time, so it's a crash up and a crash down, but it's something that happens. It happens every single year. I try to be as prepared for it as I can. I can tell you this year, we're not as prepared for it as I would like to be, because all these cars, they should have already been posted. They should have already been for sale, and we're going to end up losing out on a lot of these cars because they're just not ready right now, and they weren't ready last week when we got absolutely crushed. So we sold that 65 plus cars in like 10 days. We could have done close to 100 if we would just had these cars ready, but we didn't. But I think we did good. I'm proud of my team. Did a great job. But now we got to go into problem-solving mode and get these cars going. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you like this format better than all my other channels. We're at 5 channels at this point. Crazy. Thanks, guys.